Please be seated. The court is now back in session, and again I'd like to hand the floor to Judge Levine. You have the floor, Judge.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. With your leave, I would like to show the witness a document, and it is document E313.1.18. It is a record of the witness's interview, TCW 809.
Monsieur le témoin, j'aimerais tout d'abord que vous...
Witness, I would like you to start by looking at the name of the person who was interviewed according to that record, and tell us whether you know that person.
I know this person, Pichim.
Bon, j'avais essayé de ne pas répondre.
I had hoped that the name of that person wouldn't be revealed, but on the other hand, it facilitates matters. So you have told us that you know Pichin. In what capacity did you know him?
I knew him even earlier than 1970 because his native village was not far from the village of my wife.
Est-ce que Petchim
Did Petchin at any point in time act as your assistant?
No. When I came to Tramkot district in 1977, Pichim was not in Tramkot district.
Est-ce que vous avez fait partie du front?
Were both of you part of the front, that is the United Resistance Front? You said that you were a member of that front when you arrived in Tramkot.
I cannot recall that. I recalled that I was a member of the front. As for him, I am not sure whether he was a member of the front or not. Initially, he worked in Tramkot. However, after the war ended, he went to work at a rubber plantation in Kampong Thom, in Sraidonong or something like that.
Alors, il indique...
He says in answer number 9 in the record of the interview that you came to Tramkot district to supervise intelligence agents of District 105, and he worked as your assistant. That is what you would find in answer number 9.
That is not correct. I was not a teacher in Tramkot district.
Excuse me. I'm not sure if you were referring to E313.1.18 question 9. Is that correct?
Alors, on va essayer de clarifier parce que
Let me clarify matters because the interpreter didn't hear the reference you've given me, but I'm referring to document E313.1.18. Answer number 9.
And I have a different English translation. I read 105 teachers.
en français,
In French, it states that 105 teachers, perhaps it's an interpretation, perhaps I'm wrong, but I believe they are talking of teachers in District 105. Perhaps my other colleagues who speak Khmer can tell us what the exact situation is.
bien.
Apparently, what is on that record corresponds to what I'm saying. In any case, let us look at answer number 19. Witness TCW 809 is asked to describe the administrative structure of the Southwest Zone in 1975, and I'll read out that answer, witness. And you tell me whether this reminds you of anything. In 1975, Tamok was the committee chief of the Southwest Zone. There were several regional committees, but I only knew that of my region. I believe we can replace the word region by the word sector. The number of that sector was 13. Then we had Pound, nicknamed Pound. He was the secretary. His assistant was called Fen. Miasmut was a member of the committee of my region. At this stage, witness, does this jog your memory?
Yes, what you read out is correct.
Alors, je vais continuer.
So let me press on with the reading. Now we'll talk about the district. The district committee consisted of a chief, Com, we referred to him earlier, a deputy chief, Kiev, one member, Niev. Does this also jog your memory?
I only knew about Com and Gil, and as for Nier, to my recollection, Yeah, was with the army, but I did not have a full grasp as to the administrative structure of that.
Ensuite, le témoin.
Next, witness 809 gives us a number of names of commune chiefs. The chief of Trapiang Tom commune was called Pek No, and he points out that that person was his elder brother, his assistant, Kit Chai, but that person died. The chief of Cheng Tong commune was called Bon. He was married to Chon. This person is deceased. The chief of Popel commune was called Kav, deceased. There was also Kern, also deceased. He was one of the junior brothers of Kav and worked as his assistant. The chief of Tafen commune was called Nit, deceased, and Kit, also deceased. Kit was his assistant. The chief of labor commune was called Aun. Perhaps I'm pronouncing it very badly. The chief of Samhong commune was called Chen. The chief of Kus commune was called Saing. I do not know whether he is still alive. His assistant was called Fen. The chief of Nyeng Nyo commune was called Si. The chief of Sri Nunong commune was called Kim. Now tell me, do all these names ring a bell, or do they correspond to what you remember?
I do not know. As for Chai, it's the same thing. I don't know. I know another Chai, that is the Chai, who was a district secretary. But I do not know his full name. I only know him as the Chai. As for Boon, female, I know her, and I also know John, her husband. As for Kav and Kun, I know them, but I did not know about their position at the Popel commune. And Tapen commune chief, Nut. Probably this person, Nut, was the husband of Poon, that is my elder sister-in-law. And for the other true name, I do not know. I also do not know Jim. And in fact, when they established this administrative structure, I was no longer there.
Alors, quand vous êtes...
Very well. When you returned, who were the cadres who were in place? Can you give us the names of the cadres who were in place when you were in Tlamkok district?
I recall that for Popel commune, it was John, the husband of Boon, and for Libo commune, it was Kek. but the person deceased around 1980 or 81 at Damrai Romil Mountain. The chief of Kuh Commune, San, and I cannot recall the name of the chief of Nhai Nhong Commune. For Srai Nanong Commune, it was Kun, the chief. That's all I can recall. And for Ong Tasam Commune, it was Tasam who was the chief.
En ce qui concerne le comité de...
Regarding the district committee, the names Tachim and Takit ring a bell.
I know Takit and Tachim.
Est-ce qu'ils étaient tous les deux frères?
Were they brothers?
I don't know. They lived in the same village, but I did not know whether they were related. And in fact, they also lived in the same village that I lived, but I did not know about their relationship as blood brothers or not.
Quelles fonctions ont-ils occupées?
What precise functions did they occupy at the level of the district?
I know that Takut was the district secretary. As for the brother Jim, I do not know his real function.
Qui a remplacé Takit?
Who replaced Takit when he left?
The replacement was Tachai.
Est-ce que Tachai est resté juste...
Did Tachai remain in place up to the end of 1979? Or he also left at a certain point towards the northwest region?
Tachai left for the northwest zone, and through my knowledge, that happened around late 1977.
Qui a remplacé Tachai?
Who replaced Tachai?
Nobody replaced Tachai. Taron, that is who was at the sector, came to supervise Tramkot district directly. Ye Bund and I was assistant there until I arrived in June 1977.
Donc vous étiez les assistants.
So you were direct assistants to the chief of sector.
At the beginning, I was an assistant to Tramkot district. However, when the sector directly controlled the district, I did not know for sure of my position because there was no official announcement in regards to my position there. I was not an assistant to the sector because since there was no official announcement, I still considered myself as an assistant to the Tramkot district.
Bien, alors en tant qu'assistant.
Very well. As assistant of Tramkot district, did you hear the names of the following cadres? Yep Dok. That name does not appear on the record of the interview because you won't find it in there. Did you hear of a cadre called Yep Dok who was in charge of the youth in the district?
I never heard of a name Ip or a name Duk. Are you referring to one person, Ip Duk, or referring to two different individuals?
C'est une seule personne, mais
I'm referring to the same person, but I think he was known rather by the name Dok.
est-ce que vous avez connu des cadres ou un.
Did you know any cadres or a cadre called Doik who worked at 105 district?
No, I don't know any Duk there.
Est-ce que vous avez entendu parler d'un cadre qui.
Did you hear of a cadre called Kifi who was handicapped? He was lame.
I heard of a name P.
Quelles étaient les fonctions de.
What were P's functions?
P worked in the same office with Anne.
C'est-à-dire.
What functions did he therefore fulfill?
I did not know of his real function, but he worked in the same office that Anne worked.
Est-ce que vous pouvez nous dire qui
Can you tell us what Ta'an did? Did you ever receive reports written by Ta'an?
I knew that the Ta'an was chief at the Krang Tachan, but I cannot recall whether I received any report from him.
Est-ce que vous avez entendu parler d'un cadre qui s'appelait...
Did you hear of a cadre called Fan Chen?
No, the name Pan Chen does not ring a bell.
Est-ce que vous avez entendu parler de quelqu'un qui s'appelait...
Did you hear of a person called Keo Chandara, alias Acha Yav?
No, that name does not ring a bell.
Non, je voudrais qu'on revienne un tout petit peu au niveau du secteur.
I would like us to talk about the sector. You said you knew a person called alias Tan. You said he had an assistant called Fen, and that Hute was also a member of the sector committee. Did you hear of a person called Taprak?
I heard people talking about the Taprak, that Taprak came to Sector 13 and he was there before Taron came. So a few months later, he disappeared. He went somewhere I did not know, and Taron came to work or to be in charge at the sector level.
And have you ever heard that Taprak was purged?
No, I never heard about that. I only knew that Taprak worked there for 2 or 3 months, and then he was replaced by Taron.
And did Taron remain at the head of the sector until 1979? Or was he replaced by someone? And then why was he replaced?
Taron remained at Sector 13 until the invasion by the Vietnamese troops.
And does the name Tatit ring a bell? Tatit.
That is my younger brother-in-law who married to Ung Kain, who is the younger sister of Ung Kun.
And did Taron ever have a car accident?
Taron had a car accident, though I cannot recall the year that it happened. The mob went through the northwest zone, and he called some cadres from the sector and the zone levels to go and work at the northwest zone, including Taron, Tabet, and other cadres whose names I cannot recall. And when they returned from their trip, they had a traffic accident in Posat province, that is at a bridge in Posat province, and as a result, Taron had his leg broke.
Bien.
Fine. I would like to return to the written record of interview E 319.1.18, and I would like to look at question 235.
On pose notamment.
And this question is put to the witness. Who would control the Krang Tachang Security Center between 1975 and 1979? Answer. It was Som and Mut. Both belonged to the sector level, which would supervise this center. An was in charge personally, and Kum, the Tramkak district secretary, was aware of this. Furthermore, between 1971 and 1972, Ching also worked as the head of this center. In 1972, he was sent elsewhere. So, can you tell us if this corresponds to your own take on the situation, to what you saw?
My apology. I did not know about what the judge read out, as at the time I was at Kohandait, and whether this chain supervised security office or not, it's beyond my knowledge. As for the other names, that is Saum and Mut, here it reads that they took charge at the sector level, and that Saum was the chief or the secretary, and that Pan was his deputy, and Mut was a member in charge of the Sector 13 army, and that happened from 1970 to around 1973. Then Mahmoud went to take charge of the zoned army.
The witness says, witness 809, is that those in charge of the sector would have direct control over the Krang Tachang Security Center. Does that correspond to your take on the situation? Was the security center at Krang Tachang under the control of the sector?
Answer. During 1970s and 71, I didn't know about that. I knew that Saum was the sector secretary, Pan was deputy, and Mut was a member. As regards their supervision over the security center from the sector, I had no idea. But when I became the assistant, I would report everything to Taron.
This is what Witness 809 says. At answers 236 and 237, free translation, question. Did An control the Krang Tachang Security Center until the end of the Khmer Rouge regime? Answer. Yes, An was in charge of this security center until the end of the Khmer Rouge regime. Question. As a member of the district committee, did you have any contact with the security center or with An? Answer. No, not at all. When there were problems, I would directly go to the region sector level. So does that correspond to the situation that you experienced when you were a district deputy? That is to say that when there were problems, did you have to contact or go to the sector level?
Answer. When Pechum was there, I don't know the way of his relationship, but when I was there, I made direct contact with the sector office.
So, other questions are put to this witness. He is asked, or he is told, you are telling us that Krang Tachang was under the direct supervision of the sector. A certain number of written documents indicate that Tramkak district was in direct contact with this center. So, as far as you know, did Tramkak district liaise with the Krang Tachang security center in writing or not? Answer. Yes. The center would send reports to the district, which would then forward them to the sector through its messengers. Sometimes the Krang Tachang Security Center would send its messengers, through its messengers, reports to the sector directly. So does this correspond to what you experienced when you were a district deputy?
Answer. These answers corresponding to my work as the assistant to the district office.
What kind of reports would you receive from the Krang Tachang Center?
Witness, Your Honor, could you please repeat your question?
Yes. What kind of reports would you receive from the Krang Tachang Security Center? Or maybe I can be more precise. Would you sometimes receive reports containing the confessions of prisoners at Krang Tachang, would you receive prisoner lists of prisoners who were brought to Krang Tachang? Would you receive lists of prisoners who had been executed at Krang Tachang?
Answer: I forget some things, but I understand that I have never received any prisoners list from Krang Tachan, nor did I receive any execution list of prisoners from Krang Tachan.
Bien, on va passer.
Fine, let's turn to another topic. Are you aware of the way that the District 105 hospital was managed? How was the care managed? How was healthcare managed in District 105?
Answer: Tramkok Hospital was at Wat Tropangkol, as far as I remember. And the care and treatment based on or responding to the illness. Traditional medicine were used for some cases, and modern medicines were also used during the treatment. That's all I can tell you.
How many nurses were there? How many sick people were there? How were the sick people fed? Who managed the hospital?
Answer: the number of patients, number of staff, I don't remember numbers, and I do not recall the name of the chief of that hospital. For food and other meals, the supply were given by the district office.
Did you receive reports, or were you informed that some patients at the hospital were suffering from malnutrition because they did not have enough to eat?
Answer: I did not receive any information like this, but within the district, it might be that the district office who solved the problem, who supplied the food supply to the hospital.
Does the name Niari Niang, apparently Takit and Tachin's niece, ring a bell?
Answer: I heard the name you said, Neri Ning, but I did not know whether she was a niece of Takit or Ta'an.
fine. I have a very last question regarding visits that were done by foreign delegations. This morning, the prosecutor showed you a photograph. I can't find it, it seems, but it's a photograph in which you recognized yourself. And this photograph comes from a book that was written by Gunnar Bergström. Gunnar Bergström was a member of a delegation from the Marxist-Leninist Communist Party of Sweden. And the photograph in which you recognize yourself carries a caption in this book written by Gunnar Bergström. And the caption states, "The leaders of the cooperative." So, witness, were you the head or the chief of Labo Cooperative?
Answer: I was not the chief or the leader at Labo Cooperative.
Alors, qui était le...
So then, who was the leader of Labo Cooperative?
Answer: I don't recall the name, but the commune chief was not serving as the chief of cooperative. But on this photo, the one behind me, I saw on this photo, his name is Take. He was not the chief of the cooperative. Another person was the chief of the cooperative, but I don't recall his name now.
I am now going to read out or reread, because this document was already read out by the prosecutor. It's document E3/1339. My apologies, because I only have the English ERN. This is ERN 001683 50 to 51. Khmer 01 06 39 05 to 07. And this document is it's a FIBIS report. That is to say, a transcription of radio broadcasts that were broadcast by the Phnom Penh National Radio. That is to say, the official radio of Democratic Kampuchea. And in this broadcast, the following is indicated. On the morning of 14 December 1977, Comrade Cheng Yung-Kwei and other Chinese comrades left Takeo for Phnom Penh, and they were accompanied by Comrade Party Secretary and unless I'm mistaken, I think this is Pol Pot, Comrade Yengsari, Von Vet, and by Chun Chien. And it's also stated that Tamok accompanied them to the limits of the sector. And the following is said, and I will read it in English because there is no French version.
On their way to Phnom Penh, the Chinese comrades stopped to participate in a mass meeting at the labor cooperative. On their arrival, Comrade Cheng Yung-kwei and other Chinese guests were warmly applauded and welcomed by the masses and many male and female youth. A representative gave a history of the cooperative from the period of the war for national and popular liberation to the present post-liberation phase of national defense and construction under the CPK correct and clear-sighted leadership. Monsieur le
Witness, are you the representative who is mentioned in this broadcast, which described the history of the cooperative to Comrade Cheng Yung-kwei?
Answer. I made a presentation to Chen Yung-kwei about the history of cooperative at the instruction of Taron to do that on behalf of the cooperative chief. But in fact, I was not the chief of that cooperative. But in this visit, I saw only Chinese guests. I didn't see Mr. Pol Pot, Ieng Sari, or Tamok. They might have been returning to Takeo before they come to Phnom Penh, because during that event I saw only the Chinese guests.
Yeah.
Some other Cambodian staff, I think they were from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who accompany foreign guests to make a visit to that cooperative.
Well, in any case, what's sure is that the presentation that was given of the cooperative focused on all of the positive aspects and on the wonderful results that this cooperative had achieved, which apparently enjoyed a workforce of more than 9,000 people and 4,000 hectares of harvestable land and 3,000 hectares of rice paddies, including 600 hectares that would produce 2 harvests per year. So does that correspond to what you remember?
Answer. In fact, in that cooperative reflect to what you have just described. So as I told the court earlier, we accuse the plan of 3 tons per hectare on both sides of the road, on the south, to the south and to the north of the road, reaching to the rail track.
Witness, were you working at Label Cooperative on 25 September 1978?
Well,
Answer. In December 1978, the forces were withdrawn, including myself, fled into the jungle. By forces here, I refer to the manpower who carry no weapons.
Let me interrupt you. I'm not speaking about December. I'm speaking about September 1978. So in September 1978, were you working at Label Cooperative? And did you welcome a Japanese delegation then?
Conduite
That was led by His Excellency Hozo Sasaki.
Witness. No, I did not greet or receive any Japanese delegation.
Alors, je note.
So, I would like to speak about another FIBIS report E3/974 that describes this visit, and that says that the head of Label Cooperative gave a presentation on the cooperative, ERN 00170173 to 74. Witness, do you remember having received a delegation of members of the Marxist-Leninist Communist Party of the United States, a delegation led by a person called Dan Burstein?
Answer. Talking about receiving foreign delegation, I have responded to the chamber, including I received only 2 delegations, including the Sweden journalists and also from China, the Chinese delegation Chen Jiankui. I did not receive any American delegation.
Bien, pour le transcript, j'indique que nous avons.
Very well. For the transcript, let me point out that we have the report of that visit by Mr. Dan Bernstein, and it is document E3/707, and the ERN is S00049307 to 308. Mr. President, I have no further questions for the witness.
The President, thank you, Judge Levine. The proceeding today is appropriate to adjourn, and it will be resumed tomorrow from 9 o'clock in the morning. In tomorrow proceedings, we will continue to hear the testimony of Nieng Uch, and all parties are invited to the hearing. Witness Nieng Uch, your testimony before the trial chamber has not come into a conclusion, and you are invited to continue your testimony tomorrow, and you can return to your the place where you stay. And court officer, you are instructed to coordinate the travel to his place of stay and have him back into the courtroom before 9 o'clock in the morning. And Mr. Muang Sawan, the duty counsel, also you are also invited to accompany and be present in the courtroom tomorrow. Security personnel are instructed to bring both Nuon Chea and Kheo Sampon to the detention facility of the ECCC and have them back to attend the hearing tomorrow before 9 o'clock. The court is adjourned.